This video is an extract from the Too Long Didn't Read podcast. There's a link to the full episode down below, or you can just find the podcast in your app of choice by searching for Too Long Didn't Read. Also, actually on this, I was trying to move on from coronavirus and I've got something else to say. The interesting thing with us and YouTube and coronavirus.
Yes,
It seems that all of our coronavirus content has been demonetized. It doesn't matter what channel it's on. Doesn't matter if it's mentioned in the thumbnail or the title, whether it's just mentioned in the video itself. It seems just the phrase coronavirus is instant demonetization. And to be fair, when you look through their policies, there are various rules around this kind of thing, around controversial content, around ongoing news stories and this kind of thing. So I'm not saying that it's outrageous for YouTube to do it. I think it does fall within their terms of service. But it's interesting that they clearly are trying to limit the spread of false information through YouTube. And they are trying to stop people from profiting off the coronavirus. Which I think is ultimately a good thing. It's not a great thing for us because it means any content we make doesn't earn any money, which is obviously fine to a certain extent, but we do have stuff to pay for. So it's a little annoying. And also when content's demonetized, it gets pushed through the algorithm much less. So even though we might be willing to take a hit on the video from like an economic perspective, we also will find that the number of views we get and the number of recommendations we'll get is far lower. So it's a case of we're not earning anything from the video and the video will probably also perform fairly poorly. So from our perspective, it's a bit difficult at the moment because we want to talk about the coronavirus because we know people are interested in it, and also because it's so consuming the news landscape. It's like, what else do we talk about? Everyone's only talking about coronavirus. But if we do talk about coronavirus, the videos won't necessarily do very well and they also won't earn any money.
Well, what's more interesting is that I think there's a lot of smaller channels who rely on monetization in order to function as a channel. People who might be, providing quality content, people, science channels, things like that. These smaller channels that are doing that rely on this money, and YouTube's like decentivizing them to talk about something and maybe even, produce like explainer videos, I don't think there's many people that are going to be doing, when they say controversial, I understand that they mean the topic matter, so coronavirus itself, but I would argue that the majority of people who are actually talking about coronavirus aren't going to be doing it in like a controversial manner. Like they'll just be doing like explainer videos and things like that. And the fact that the incentive for those to be made have been taken away from the creators just seems wrong. And I understand that there'll be certain advertisers who don't want their adverts put on content about coronavirus, but it's like those videos in of themselves might even actually be a good thing for the community.
Yeah, totally.
And for that incentive, especially for us, maybe it's not so important because we've got other videos that do well and we have income. It's still a hit, but it's not going to render the channel. It's not like we can't make videos on them completely because of it. But there will be channels where that is the case, and I'm sure that there'll be channels where they're sciencey channels, things like that, things that will actually explain it, where that is actually useful to people, and that incentive's been taken away from them. I don't know. I understand it's a business. I understand that they've got to be careful with advertisers. I get that side of things, but I also get the creator point of view as well. And maybe because of the side of the line that we're on, I'm more biased towards the creator side. But it just doesn't seem right.
I think the worry they've got is they only need one video that is popular, gets recommended a lot, gets adverts placed against it, that it's some kind of misinformation, some kind of conspiracy, some kind of fear-mongering, and then you've got the concern of like advertiser backlash. Or equally, they don't want to incentivize people to make sensationalist content about it, even if it's, say, like, I don't know, vlog content or something fairly innocuous. But they don't want a bunch of videos which are like us going on like a haul where we go around like stocking up and preparing and like freaking people out. So I kind of do get that it's maybe best that people don't speak about it. I think there should be some kind of distinction. Also, just to preface all this, we've reached out to YouTube for a comment. We've not received a comment. So although it's incredibly unlikely that it's a coincidence that none of our content really gets demonetized and then suddenly all coronavirus content has, it's possible this isn't an official YouTube policy and it's just something in the algorithm. I'll say that in their defense, but I will also say that seems incredibly unlikely to me.
Yeah. Just one other thing as well is it seems like YouTube are trying to, there's this argument that YouTube's trying to create this like new media. So they're trying to tackle mainstream media. And this almost goes contrary to that because as you said earlier, like the mainstream media, that's all they're talking about. Like Corona is the news story at the minute. That's what's in the news. That's what, when you turn the news on, that's what people are talking about. But YouTube are restricting its creators from talking about that by not allowing them to, make any money from it and to support their channels. So, they're trying to say that, they're trying to push certain channels that compete with mainstream media. They're trying to, have all of that on there. But they're then not allowing them to talk about the things that mainstream media are talking about. I don't know. It seems ridiculous that they want this to tackle mainstream media, but they've got so many restrictions on what you can talk about to the point that controversial is now classed as something that everyone agrees is bad.
Find the full episode of this podcast linked down below, or simply by searching for Too Long Didn't Read in your podcast app of choice. Also, find more clips on this channel, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified every time we release a video.